You're listening to the Chartographers.
You are listening to The Chartographers. It happens to be that music-loving podcast intended for music-loving people where we take every single album by a particular artist and we rank it from the most poor to the least poor. That's what we do.
What's happening? Is it because Brie told you to breathe when she was in the Sepia podcast? Now you're like being so deliberate.
Listen, as you know, I read criticism and never accept it. But more importantly to the fact though, I'm mixing things up a little bit because actually today is a very monumental day. It's not just the fact that this is the Chartographers, a wonderful podcast where this is our 22nd artist whose discography that we're ranking. Ooh. No, today, this right now, what we're doing in the moment, and you listener are here with us, this is our 50th episode.
Wow.
That we've done.
That.
Yeah. Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
I never thought I'd do anything that would reach 50 episodes. Not sitcoms. not anything really. Not hot flashes.
That's a fair point. Yeah. I also didn't ever expect to be a part.
Well, because like we do these artists, we record these artists all at once. Like we do the part one and sometimes the part two and then the mini-sode all at once. It doesn't feel like an episode.
So to me, it feels like 22 episodes.
Right, but at the same time, still 50 episodes. Guys, thank you so much for listening. That's a big deal. So to celebrate, and there's actually quite a few things we're celebrating on this episode, FYI. But to celebrate, we are covering. We've done a lot of classic rock artists this season. We've done Michael Jackson. We did Talking Heads. We did Led Zeppelin. Like we've done so much. Like even like Daft Punk, they're kind of a modern artist, but they've been around since the 90s, so whatever. We're doing modern stuff now, guys. We're mixing it up. We're heading on a path. We're making a break for the new. And that's why this week we're covering a beloved artist by many, a soft-spoken but forceful artist of great artistic intent. That's why this week, guys, we are tackling the one, the only one of the top 10 artists of all time you do not want to see eating soup. That's right, guys. We are talking about Iron and Wine. Mr. Beamy, if you're nasty. So, guys...
I'm sorry. That's what you're going with? You don't want to watch him eat soup because he is heavily bearded?
It's not. No. But like that beard is like that's like he loomed it together. Like it is like a whole
when he lets it go, it is
he's also
impressive.
like a Southern gentleman, so I'm sure that he's like fairly good at eating soup.
Right?
Exactly.
He's got those
I
soup
kind of want
skills.
to see him eat soup now.
But literally, I was looking
just to prove you wrong.
I'm not even kidding though. I was looking up images of him earlier for whatever reason, and like I actually found like a couple of him with the beard, and he looked like Jesus, like legit. And it was like a legit like, oh my god, that is very Christ-like, which is interesting given his history. But hey, guess what? We're gonna get into it in a little bit. Before we start getting into the joys and the craziness of Sam Beam and his wonderful acoustic world, we need to talk about the amazing people that we have gathered on our 50th episode. First off, there is me. I'm Evan Sadi. You might know me as an editor of Pop Matters. You probably know me as the host of this podcast. And if you know me as the host of this podcast, then you know the person sitting next to me, A, is wearing an Iron and Wine t-shirt, and B, is the Brian Deck to my Sam Beam. That's right, guys. He is the one, the only Taran O'Reilly! Woo!
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm so fucking jazzed. I'm so excited that we're doing Iron and Wine. I love that we're mixing it up and just doing whatever artists we fucking feel like.
Right, exactly.
And, this is, I mean, I'll talk about this more later, but especially this week just like drove home that I think this might be my favorite artist.
Ever?
Like, period. Like, just as far as, like, sheer number of songs that I love, he wins. So,
he's up there for me, too.
like, he just has such a consistent... And anyway, we'll get into that. But moving on, people in the studio.
But the other person that we have here, you might recognize her from our Death Cab for Cutie podcast that we did where she killed it. She's also, in terms of our celebrations, actually celebrating her birthday in the studio right now. There's festoonery all abound. If you hear balloons popping, that's my apologies. That's right, the one, the only, Kerida O'Reilly. Kerida!
Hello!
How you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
It's my 30th birthday, by the way, dear listeners.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an important...
So that means you've been listening...
Yeah!
You're not that old. Stop that. Oh, fuck, you're right. It is your 30th birthday.
30th birthday.
Taryn just had a revelation in the studio.
you're just 27 in my brain.
Forever.
So
Forever and ever.
Yeah.
She's 27 for the third time.
Well, that's funny because I feel like 27 is when I started feeling like I was 30, so maybe that's just like...
It's all catching up at that point.
Okay, fair. Yeah.
And now let's talk about a 42-year-old while we're at it. Sam Beam of Iron and Wine. This is a South Carolina Bible boy who's kind of grown up. Initially, he got his degree in film and shit, and was like a professor at a university, but then really one of the guys, the brother of Ben from Band of Horses, lent him a 4-track player, like, you should try out some shit. And then that led to him recording some hush little acoustic numbers that led to him having quite the heck of an indie rock career. And here's the thing. We're going to rank his albums, but what qualifies as a fucking Iron and Wine album? That is up for debate. Let's just briefly go through it. Now, first up before anything else, there are 5 flat-out regular-ass albums. There is The Creek Drink the Cradle, his debut from 2002, very hushed acoustic lo-fi. There is 2004, Our Endless Number of Days, lush acoustic hi-fi. Then there was 2007's Breakthrough, The Shepherd's Dog, which was, all sorts of colors and sounds and texture all over the place. 2011's Crazy or Kiss Each Other Clean, much more texture, much more sound. And then there's 2013's, it's an album, 2013 Ghost on Ghost. He has those, and that seems pretty enough. 5 albums. We've done 5 albums before, but wait a second. There's so much. Oh, there's so much. Now,
It's less than half of his released material.
Yeah.
that is true. And Taran, from the onset, during Research Week, and even before Research Week, he's like, we need to include the EPs. Now, walk us a little bit through why you think that is so important and vital for this artist more than any other.
Well, more than any other artist we've done, 'cause a lot of times EPs include songs that later end up on the albums,
yeah.
but all of his EPs are standalone pieces of work where he had an artistic statement in mind and he just wanted, it was only 5 or 6 songs.
That's what I was
And-
just thinking also.
and-
His EPs are like, this is what I had to say, and I'm done. It's not like I need to put something out in between albums.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
For some artists, that's true, though. Some artists,
Right,
they just
yeah,
like,
no,
it's like,
I
listen,
feel
our new album is going to be epic and we hire like 8 orchestras, so here's a little thing in the meantime, like kind of a holdover kind of thing.
Right, or like it'll have like the lead single from that EP will end up being
Right.
on the album because it's a hit or whatever.
Flaming
but this
Lips,
isn't
yeah.
what Iron and Wine is about. And I just think they're very important for watching the arc of his artistic development. Like the Woman King EP from 2005 is like such a perfect stepping stone for the 2 albums on either side of it.
Yeah.
And it also has a couple of just his greatest songs that he's ever written.
Well, we'll debate that in a second
But
here.
anyway.
But there's also the C and the Rhythm EP, kind of his carryover between his debut Creek Drink the Cradle and Our Endless Number of Days, which very much carries on the same kind of artistic bent of Creek Drink the Cradle. It's an EP that he put out.
Right.
Popular on dorm room campuses and for, archivists of folk music and what have you. But the other thing is there, and that's cool if we want to include those EPs. I don't think, Kerida, you would have much objection to including those.
Not at all, no.
Right. But then we run into the other issue of his collabos. And he's got quite a litany of collabos. There is his Calexico EP, In the Rains, from 2005. There's his album, his covers album he did with Ben Bridwell of Band of Horses called Sing Into My Mouth. It's terrible. And then there's also his album credited as Sam Beam with Jessica Hoop, Love Letter for Fire from 2016, his lowest debuting album that he ever had on the charts. He has all of those together as well. Generally, and for the most part, with the exception of Robin, I think we generally don't count collaboration stuff.
We did on Kanye too, though.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with collaborations is that because they're all, like, not only are they collaborations, but they each have another thing about them that makes me not want to include them. Like, In the Rains, I would love if we included, but I don't need us to, because I think it's a really strong group of music. But, like, Sing Into My Mouth, it's a covers album. I don't feel any need to include that. It's that seems more like a passion project than something that needs to be included in his canon.
Yeah.
And then for Love Letter for Fire, I really enjoyed it, especially going back to it this week. I love what they brought out in each other, but it's not Iron and Wine.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think he did that for very specific reasons that I don't quite understand, but it's not Iron and Wine, so I don't think we would include it. And if we're gonna include In the Rains with Calexico, like,
Then we
feel
have to
we
like
should
include all this
those,
other
so
stuff.
Then, yeah,
It wrecks our deck. You know, we have a stacked bracket on this. We don't
Although
have
In
to-
the Rings definitely is Iron and Wine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the difference.
and that's also a huge step.
Yeah. But what?
Two.
Right.
But
But what? And we'll talk about it in the
talk
Happy
about
Hour mini-sode.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
But we're not ranking it.
Also, he has 2 random like EP rarity comps around the well and Archive Series Volumes 1 and apparently 2 and 3, which no one knows about.
Well, 2 and 3 are just
Vinyl only.
vinyl singles.
Yeah.
A-side, B-side, 2 songs. Archive Series Volume 1 again has some pretty great stuff on
Yeah.
it. If you're into the Creek Drank the Cradle sound, it's for sure worth checking out.
I buzz that shit out at clubs all the time. I really do. It's so goddamn good. But hey, listen. At the very least, though, I think that's a pretty.
That's not.
It's a pretty measured debate that we have here.
They take him seriously at this point.
That's true.
I'm sorry. Does anyone take
I
you
don't know
seriously?
why
If
they're-
you're listening to this podcast, I'm pretty sure it's hard to take you
As
seriously.
Evan always says, it might be someone's first episode. In
It
which
is.
case, we should warn them: don't take him
Evan
seriously.
I am so serious. You hear it in my voice, singing to my mouth. All right, so listen, there are 7 releases that we're talking about here: Creek Tree the Cradle, See the Rhythm EP, Our Endless Number Stage, Woman King EP, Shepherd's Dog, Kiss Each Other Clean, Ghost on Ghost. 7 albums, 7 rankings, worst to best. Birthday Girl, Kerida O'Reilly, dear friend, music lover, and aficionado. It is your turn at the table on the docket. Number 7, in your estimation, what would you nominate as the worst Iron and Wine release?
This is seriously tough.
Is it controversial what you're about to say?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think so.
We don't know. We haven't talked about this beforehand.
We're about to find out.
I mean,
So
I
excited.
thought about it a lot, and I would honestly go with Ghost on Ghost.
Okay.
It's a fair decision.
It's a fair decision. Let's briefly give people a bit of context of Ghost on Ghost first. Now, the thing is that when Kiss Each Other Clean came out in 2011, something crazy happened where it debuted at number 2 on the American album charts. Like, it was insane. He reached this like apex of like indie popularity. He had songs in the Twilight soundtracks.
All of a sudden I was like, how the hell does everyone know who Iron and Wine is?
Right.
All of a sudden.
You're just
it
like,
really
what?
was. It was Twilight.
It was Twilight.
Yeah. And Garden State,
Which we can
honestly.
talk
Well,
about.
right. It
Yeah.
started with Garden State, and then I feel like from Our Endless Number Days, Naked As We Came was absolutely an indie hit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of people knew that song just as a standalone. Like,
From
it transcended his
Usual
artist level and
Yeah.
became...
It's more than just good press that's elevating your record. Like, oh, people on blogs are sharing this shit.
Right, yeah. And then,
Yeah.
obviously, the song at the end of Shepherd's Dog, Flightless Bird, American Mouth, was used in Twilight.
And there's a
multiple
wedding
times.
version. Yeah.
But even
yelled at
even
the
bes-
TV.
I know, I was so mad.
I was like,
when
no,
that
you don't
happened.
deserve this song!
I know. I was like, as soon as I saw,
And then I was like,
think
Kerida, you just watched that whole movie.
Why would you watch a whole movie just for an Iron Wine song? You're dedicated. You're a fan.
It was right after a breakup, okay?
but also, even before that was included on the Twilight soundtrack, Boy with a Coin
Yeah.
was a
Actually,
pretty
yeah,
sizable
Hit
indie
off of
hit.
Shepherd's Dog, right?
So, you know, the momentum was rolling, and so
Yeah.
it makes
And-
sense to me that then his next album after that got a lot of attention, especially because it's pretty fucking good.
Yeah. But Ghost on Ghost is weird because, like, I felt like after you went kind of maximalist, like, synths and textures and colors all over the place
Well,
on
and
Kiss
he
Each Other
also
Clean.
had the biggest budget at
Oh,
this
yeah,
point.
exactly. And then he's like, you know what, I want to strip it down a little bit. I want to take a step back there. And the thing is about Ghost on Ghost, like, I don't mind, like, talking about its faults because it is also immaculately produced.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like a solid Iron and Wine album, but why is it not connecting with you? Like,
Yeah,
And that's it. I can't tell you why.
Yeah,
but it
that's-
just didn't.
I've
Taryn's been riddling this for a while.
Like, racking my brain.
Yeah.
This week especially, because when I first heard it, there are a couple songs on here that I thoroughly enjoy. I think The Desert Babbler is really fun. It makes liberal use of strings, and there's a lot of fun harmonies. That's the other thing, is that on this album in general, there's a lot of really cool harmonies. I mean, that's his whole career, but especially here. There's a lot of really cool harmonies. There's great backing vocals using their own little hooks.
I like
There's
Grace
a
for
ton
Saints
of
and Ramblers, that little
Yeah.
keyboard line. Yeah.
So here's the thing is,
Uh-oh.
I think that was the first single, wasn't it?
yeah.
yeah.
And I heard it and I was just like, what is this? I don't know. It did not hit me. I felt like it felt like I can't even.
You can't even articulate
It
it.
felt like both nothing new and nothing the same. Like, somehow
Yes.
at the same
Yes.
time. Like, one of the things I love about Iron Wine that I'm sure we'll get to talking about is his lyricism. And I feel like he's using some of his tropes in Grace for Satan or Sin Ramblers, but it just feels like, it doesn't connect.
Well, and the biggest thing for me is that I feel like, and it's something that actually came up during our Death Cab episode too, and I think there's a lot of other artists who can describe the same thing of how, at a certain point in their careers, they, like, if you've been doing this gig long enough, you stop becoming a songwriter and then become a craftsman.
Yeah.
Yes. Where basically, like, it's just all of a sudden it's secondhand nature, like, I can pop off some songs whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right, like
just,
like I'm sure that the lyrics and melodies just like fall out of him at this point.
Right, and that's the thing, like, when I listen to these backing vocals, like, everything's in place, but I don't hear the enthusiasm behind it. I hear the obligation behind it.
It's not consistent on the entire album,
Correct.
but there's a lot of songs on here where, again, all of the elements are there, but there's no color.
Yeah.
There's no life, and he's doing the same things. He's like the backing vocals, the melody of them totally evokes Shepherd's Dog and Kiss Each Other Clean. Yeah. Like the way that he uses the horns and all of that, but it's just like I almost have to say it's something in the mixing. Like something with the way that this
vocals
album
are
was
recorded at the back of the room.
Yeah,
where
lot
Kiss
of
Each
the
Other
vocals,
Clean, he was like forcefully singing for the first time in his career.
And a lot of the vocals on Ghost sound like they're recorded either from across the room or like they've had just a ton of reverb applied to them. Yeah. Like too much reverb.
You guys like reverb?
And yeah, but then even like the way that the horns and the pianos and all of that it just sounds it's so blah.
Yeah.
Right.
Like this is the first album where it just feels gray to me, whereas every other album of his has such huge flashes of color.
Yes, I totally agree.
And there's still moments.
There are moments, and something that
Lovers
I'm
Revolution.
Yes. That, I mean, he nails that one. That's because from very early on, he has songs like anti-political, like capitalism kind of songs, and Lover's Revolution is where he really hammers that home. Like it is.
He's most overt that he's been in some
like
time.
He sounds pissed.
Yeah.
And there's
and that's a new emotion. That's a new texture. That's a new flavor in the mix. But you don't hear it in the rest of the album.
And I can see. I think if you were someone who kind of discovered him from Twilight, and so like even if you knew his other stuff, but you joined on at the Flightless Bird, American Mouth part of the journey, and then you heard Kiss Each Other Clean. Ghost on Ghost probably was a really exciting album because it's still a good album made by our favorite artist, But when it's a fine album. But when you place it, I have been listening to him since 2002, and so when you place it in that lineup, it's just like, this is not your best, dude.
Now, and listen, I don't think none of us are going to really disagree on the fact that Ghost on Ghost is not great, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, Taran.
I also just want to say, New Mexico's No Breeze might be my favorite song on there.
Oh, I find it so boring.
Really?
Yeah. There's just something so airless about the instrumentation on it.
I feel like that's one of the few places he finds, like, a breath. Like, he was... I read a quote from him specifically that on this album he was trying to get away from the, quote, anxious tension that had been, like, such a huge part of the previous albums. And he doesn't totally accomplish that because there's a couple, like, very... like minor key anxiously tense songs on here, but then he very much is trying to go for like radio friendly 70s pop,
right?
And I think that he perfectly hits that nail on New Mexico's No Breeze. But anyway,
if I were to take a wager, I would say there might be something else you would nominate for the lowest spot on here.
There is, yes. I would say the Sea and the Rhythm EP. Not that it's
only
bad.
5 songs. It's only 5
songs, and really the only ones that I want to come back to are Beneath the Balcony, which is like a nice song, and I really like The Night Descending.
The Night Descending is a great-ass song, yes.
Yeah.
I agree. And I personally am a little bit fond of The Sea and the Rhythm. It's a little bit more shellacky, it's a little bit more kind of...
I don't like the lyrics on that one. They feel like weirdly vulgar. I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's fine. But Jesus the Mexican Boy, I don't have to listen to again, I can tell you that right now.
Really? See it now, I like that one.
Really? Yeah.
Oh,
see, we all have different things. What do you think of this EP?
I won't throw a fit if it's number 7. Like I said, I kind of was juggling actually that one and Ghost on Ghost. I think often the C in the rhythm gets wound up in the Creek Drank the Cradle.
Yep. If
For
you
me,
put it on a playlist, I would completely be like, oh yeah, that's on the same album. Yeah.
And in fact, when I was looking, I was like, oh yeah, that's an EP. Like I sometimes forget it's not its own album. Like in my head, there's just like other songs that don't actually exist that exist.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
you know.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
It's on the deluxe edition of Creek Drink the Cradle, right?
Yeah. And so I guess I just put the C in the rhythm higher because for me it's the Iron and Wine sound that I love so much.
Yeah. Well, listen, I don't want. I think we're all kind of in rough agreement here, but you're also the birthday girl, so let's go ahead. Let's put Ghost on Ghost at number 7.
Okay.
Let's put the See the Rhythm EP there, but also that is the only present we're giving you because now it's an all-out war. And I have no idea.
I mean, it gets hairy from here.
It really does.
It gets harder.
Exactly. In fact, I would like to be controversial. If you guys wouldn't mind letting me be controversial for a second, I'm going to toss out. How could you? Right. People only listen to this for the controversies. By the way, the fan fiction you guys have been writing about me and Taran, it's hot. Keep it up. But all I can say.
What?
The only thing
He doesn't show that to you.
in terms of number 5.
Don't do that.
In terms of number 5 out of 7, my pick, and again, it might be controversial. I think it's very well rounded out. Are Endless Number Days. That is what I would say in our number 5 slot. Yes, it is the album that has Naked As We Came. But Jesus Christ, this is a fucking snoozer of an album, and the thing is, I understand the propulsiveness of his songwriting and the fact that he has a little bit more production budget now. But it's basically, if you ignore all the fancy production stuff, it's basically a sequel to Creek Drink the Cradle, and there are moments on here that actually do work. Actually, Free Until They Cut Me Down, I actually kind of dig a little bit. But honestly, Radio War, oh my god, I will be happy if I live my life never hearing that snooze of a song again.
Yeah, no, I would say that Radio War is probably, you asked me earlier what I was going to say for worst song, and I think it has to be Radio War. It's the only song that he has where I'm just like, what were you thinking? Like, it's just so...
But, like, I don't know, because the rest of that album...
See,
Love and Some Verses is one of my favorite songs.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. It's simple. It's beautiful. It's multifunctional in a lot of ways.
And I think that Love and Some Verses, Sunset Soon Forgotten, and Naked As We Came are like the perfect examples of why he needed to go hi-fi. Like, because they have such a full...
Lushness or fidelity?
The individual notes. What is that called?
Staccato?
Arpeggio.
Oh, yeah.
They have such a full, like, because he's finger plucking the guitar lines, and he was doing that a lot on Creek Drank the Cradle, but because he has the lo-fi, they ring so much fuller, and so the chords form even though the notes are being hit one at a time. Yeah. And so even though they are pretty simple songs, ornamentation-wise, besides, like, he does, like, the whole verse string hook verse instead of in lieu of a chorus thing on all of these, except on Naked As It Became, that's a chorus. But
indie rock chorus.
But yeah, I would totally agree. Those 3 songs are up there among my favorites, and I would say I would add Cinder and Smoke to that.
Yeah.
Because that's like the early sides of his, like, anxious paranoia thing. But then I on the other hand, I would kind of agree with Evan in that this has... The second half is a bit of a snooze. Like, you get
Fever Dreams? Yeah.
Fever Dreams is like, and Passing Afternoon doesn't really do it for me. Saddam South Georgia has actually grown on me a lot.
I was just going to say that. Yeah. That's probably his song that's grown on me the most.
I mean, just... Because it's also one of the... I'm not going to say few songs. Especially early on, he has a lot of songs that are more coherent lyrically, whereas later it just... We're not totally sure.
I can test
there's
that.
There's just a lot of imagery happening later in his career, and the lyrics aren't necessarily what it's about. It's just about the mood that he's building. But, like, I would say on Saddam South Georgia, it's, like, some of his most heartbreaking lyrics.
Yeah.
Can we talk about, by the way, just since we have to talk about it at some point, Sam Beam as lyricist? Earlier, Taran and I were talking during Research Week, and Taran had a very interesting analogy of how to describe his lyrical worldview, which is like, do you like Stevie Nicks? Because really, when you think, he's kind of the Stevie Nicks of the indie folk scene, if you think about it. lots of really specific, really pretty imagery that it sounds great and is presented well, but when you look at a sheet of lyrics there, you're like, what the fuck are you talking about 8 out of 9 times?
Yeah.
I mean, actually, though.
Yes. I mean, and my favorite quote about his lyrics is my friend in college. She was like, it's either really deep or just utter nonsense. And the thing is, I think sometimes it's both. Because, like, when we get to Woman King, like, it sounds like utter nonsense, but in the
context of the album.
In the context of the album and in the context of my life at the time that it came out, it actually has a lot of meaning. So it's like, okay, is he just taking these things, or does he like actually know the meaning beneath them? You can't always tell.
Right, exactly. Like, there are times when like a lyric or something will just pop out at you at some point too, but it just feels very kind of free associated. But again, presented well. I always think back of the Wilco on their album Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. The opening line of that is, I'm an American aquarium drinker, I assassin down the boulevard. And the whole reason Jeff Tweedy says, I was playing around with sounds, I like the sounds of that. Like, they weren't actual words, but for whatever reason, it has its own weird internal logic as to, like, why that kind of works. And I feel like it's the same thing with a lot of what Sam Beam does.
I mean, and there are a lot of lyricists who
work in surrealistic elements.
They work in, not just work in surrealistic elements, but write the melody just making nonsense sounds, and then find the words that fit to that sound.
Like Michael Jackson.
Well, like Michael Jackson, like Sarah Bartol of Phantogram, like Bon Iver. Like, there are a lot of lyricists who, it's gorgeous, but when you string it all together, you're like, this is not totally related.
And the other thing, I think, as far as Sam Beam and his lyrics that made more sense to me when I saw him live and you hear his drawl. Is that, like, suddenly you hear his drawl and you're like, oh, you make so much more sense now. But he has that Southern Gothic going on, and the thing about Southern Gothic is it doesn't always make sense.
Right.
But it is deep and spiritual.
Right, like, it has
but it's
its own,
also nonsense.
It has its own internal logic almost.
Yeah, and that's, and, like, at certain points, part of why it feels so spiritual is because it is, in the real world, it's nonsense. So it feels like
you've gone to a different plane.
It's not right. It's not about like the reality. It's about building a mythos, and that's why this song gives you this emotion. Is not just the instrumentation. Yeah. It's because it puts you into. It's almost more like world building than storytelling sometimes.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I feel like that's good. And it's a world that doesn't have to make sense, but as long as he's following his own internal logic on that song.
I'm thinking of the first season of True Detective. Did you guys watch that?
Yes.
Okay, I fucking love the first season of True Detective.
Oh yeah, everyone does.
No, not everyone does.
No, unlike the second season, which everyone hates.
Oh, right, okay. But the reason I'm thinking of it is, again, it's that weird Southern Gothic world building kind of mythos where you're like, this makes no sense and yet all the sense in the world, and like and I feel like that's how Iron and Wine is for me. It's like, this makes no sense and yet all the sense. Like, in that show, Matthew McConaughey's character got like a lot like, oh, you're just babbling nonsense, and I was like, every word he said made sense to me. Should I be worried about that? But I think it's because I went there with them. I went to that other world, and I'm very willing to do that with Sam Beam.
And also, on a little known fact, Sam Beam is also the Yellow King. But that being said, I threw out my pick for number 5 for Our Endless Number Stays. Does anyone have a counter?
I just want to know why you'd rank the Creek Drink the Cradle higher.
Oh, happily. The Creek Drink, I mean, admittedly, for what my introduction to Iron and Wine was, I think, what many people's would be, either, like some people would be NPR or what have you, or Blogosphere, and mine was, of course, college. Because then it's very much a college album. High school, baby! She's
ahead of the curve.
She's 30. But the thing is, on that one there, it's just, it's the beauty of that album. Unlike, I feel like, because Our Endless Number Days, there's a lot of finger picking, there's a lot of instrumentation that's kind of overflowing, still very soft spoken. But the thing I love about Creek Drink the Cradle is the fact that there's just small elements over here. It's a very melodically simple album, but he just builds up these beautiful, gorgeous melodies. Very simple and small additions, like a little banjo coming in, You know, like it's a very quiet but beautiful like things. And so the thing is that like lyrically, there's not a lot of huge difference between the albums, but for some reason the presentation of this one, the fact that it's so stripped down and so it's so much more clear. I didn't need a lot of the kind of excess instrumentation and bonus finger picking that you find on Our Endless Number's Days, because I feel like at the core of his songwriting, he presented his ideas, crazy as they are sometimes, on the lyrical front, in a very beautifully simplistic manner, and it also is a lo-fi album that makes use of its lo-fi.
Yes.
You have that intimacy of being in someone's bedroom.
It almost needs to be lo-fi.
Right.
Yeah.
And we would talk about great songs on here. Where to fucking start? Oh my god. I mean, aside from, of course, Lion's Mane as an opener. Just this, kind of quietly gorgeous thing. Upward Over the Mountain, though, might be one of my top 5.
Yeah, I would also say it's in my top 5.
And then also, I love Southern Anthem. That's another one that's grown on me over time.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, same. But even more than Southern Anthem, I mean, this was an album, I've been a fan of him probably since, 2005-ish. I think you introduced me to Woman King when that came out. Yeah. And
you've never been a fan of this album.
Right, and I've never been a fan of Creature in the Cradle because in my mind it wasn't why I was coming to Iron and Wine. Mm-hmm. I was into Woman King, and then when Shepherd's Dog came out,
you were into that.
That's a transformational album for me.
Yes.
And so when I then went back and was like Creature in the Cradle, I was like, okay, Upward Over the Mountain, obviously, that's a phenomenal song. Yeah. And then I would also say, Faded from the Winter, I've always had a big soft spot for. But this week, listening to this album in the context of his career, Lion's Mane totally came into focus for me. I'd say Bird Stealing Bread, just over the course of this week, has, gone from not a blip on the radar to maybe in my top 10 favorite Iron and Wine
Honestly,
songs.
For me this week, the Rooster Moans never did anything for me. But then when he's talking about this eternal struggle of you're singing to the sun because that's all you can do. There's kind of the Sisyphusian lack of hope of trapped in a routine to it, where it's this beautiful simple song where it's fuck, there's actually something to this. Yeah.
And I also love that he already has a full sense of harmony on this album. Yes. He uses full 3-part harmony on quite a few songs, notably Promise What You Will, which is another one that totally came into focus for me this week. I love that bent guitar, high guitar line that's really the hook, that bow, bow, bow.
Yeah.
And it's just this perfect little just over 2 minutes. I think it's brilliant, and again, it's so striking how strong his sense of melody was even this early. And then also listening to the archive series from this era, it's another 16 songs. It really shows that he had a huge selection of songs to pull from, and he picked the best for this record.
Yeah.
But after saying all of that, I do also want to say these albums are totally fucking tied for me.
Yes.
Really?
I really don't have a feeling either way.
I'm almost there. I think what I'm realizing is Our Endless Number Days has a lot of my favorite standalone songs, but Creek Drank the Cradle is such an album.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
not that Our Endless Number Days is not, but again, it's a lot more standalone songs. I mean, it's a great group of songs, but the Creek Drank the Cradle is an album. And I think that's sometimes why it gets passed over. Because it's one of those, when sometimes you get an album from an artist and you just listen to it, and for the first several listen-throughs, you don't know the titles of any of the songs because it's just an album. You're just experiencing the album. And you're like, oh yeah, that's what that one's called. 4 years later, because you just the album just becomes a part of you. And I think that Creek Drank the Cradle really accomplishes that. And I think for that reason, I might rank it above Our Endless Number Days.
All right.
I think I second that.
Okay. Well, guess what? This is the easiest podcast we've ever done of all time. So let's just briefly recap what we got here. So at number 7, we have Ghost on Ghost, and well deserved. Number 6, we have the Sea and the Rhythm EP. Number 5, we have Our Endless Number Days. And at number 4, The Creature Ain't the Cradle. But now, guess what? I know it was your birthday, and I'm sorry we have to ruin it for you right now. Because we are down to 3 albums right in line with each other. The Woman King EP from 2005, Shepherd's Dog from 2007, and Kiss Each Other Clean from 2011. So...
You can't ruin my birthday because I get to talk about all 3 of these albums. So it doesn't matter what order they end up in because I had talked about
In
them.
that case, number 1, 3-way tie. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you. So good. So birthday girl, Kerida O'Reilly, dear guest, music lover and fan. Now we have to throw this at you. We have to throw this at you. And I'm sorry, it's not an enviable task. She's recoiling as if I'm throwing something at her. As well she should. Number 3. What would you nominate?
All right, I have a feeling Terrence's not going to agree with me on this one.
Oh,
It's hard.
shit.
But I'm going to put Shepherd's Dog at 3. Because I know. No.
I'm silently shaking my head in a very small, fast motion.
I knew that you were going to do that, but here's the thing. Shepherd's Dog was transformational for you. Woman King was transformational for me. It beats it, and Kiss Each Other Clean is one of my top 10 albums of all time. So.
We're gonna have a debate. All right, now real quick before we do anything else, let's talk a little bit about Shepherd's Dog. So, I mean, go ahead and talk about why you would put this here, because keep in mind it's still number 3 out of 7. This
Right.
It ain't small pickings.
Yes.
But walk us through this album a little bit.
Through Shepherd's Dog specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's a lot. Because here's the thing. He
He
discovered color in such a fascinating way on this one. And admittedly, again, this is where we talk about bridging and gateways. The Calexico EP. It's just like, oh shit, Sambeam, you could do shit with horns.
Well, and I think that he first started finding and moving outside of his comfort zone on Woman King.
Right.
And then, 6 months later, using a full band and using all of these extra instruments, he was like, oh, I don't have to be just a guitar guy, or even to the next step on Woman King, it's basically just guitar and occasionally some percussion.
Yeah.
And obviously he's used a single fiddle or a banjo before,
Right.
but it's never been full instrumentation. And then he did that on In the Rains, and then full blown on Shepherd's Dog.
Yeah, but the thing about Shepherd's Dog is that there's just so many unique turns that on
Yes.
paper sound crazy, but then actually make sense. Carousel with his distorted vocals and lo-fi picking, that's pure Led Zeppelin right there. That is absolutely crazy, distorted vocals and things like that. And you're just it doesn't go full rock, mind you, but I'm like, okay, and that works.
Yeah, and Carousel's not my favorite song
Correct,
on the album,
yeah,
but
no,
it's up there,
yeah.
and I love the bridge where it's just oh.
Yeah.
Oh. That's I feel like the first time he finds that 70s backing vocal vibe that then he uses so well on the 2 albums after this. And yeah, I think that Pagan Angel in a Borrowed Car is probably one of the songs I've listened to the most times in my entire life. It's just I love that it starts with the guitar line almost like someone unplugged the amp, and then it
builds and grows.
and then it comes in and it's the full burst of color. It's not just guitars, there's reverb happening in the background, and there's percussion, and there's very soft, gentle ooze in the backing track, and it just the album it's such a statement of this is what you're getting into. This is not the Iron and Wine of yesteryear.
Yeah, and I think that's best
and yet
exemplified.
somehow it still is.
Right.
Yes. What's so great about both of these albums is that he finds that color. He sings a little
with more confidence.
A little more confidence, a little more force. He's like, heck yeah, I'm a musician. I don't know why I just didn't swear, but whatever.
What the heck?
He's like, I'm recording music. It's what I'm doing now. Whereas on the first ones, he's just kind of yeah, it's cool that this is working out.
Right. Yeah.
But he still has that very soft kind of world building lyrical core that we love from his first albums.
Yeah. That being said, though, and the one thing about this is that even though it's still very much him, it's still very much new, who would have ever thought he would do a fucking song like The Devil Never Sleeps? like this rollicking piano
it-
rock
right.
number.
comes in with like it's like this like jazz piano trail, and then and it just like it fucking
It
goes.
shuffles, it
And
rocks, it
and
rolls.
You said this earlier, and I hadn't ever realized how true this is. It's like one of the only songs in his discography that is short enough and amazing enough that you're like, I want to play that again.
I wish this
Like
was longer.
I wish this was a minute longer, you know, and
And I rarely say that about songs just in general.
Right.
So, like, the fact, like, it just leaves you wanting more. I'm just like, oh my god, man, where have you been hiding this part of you for so long? Yeah.
And I mean, totally different, but also similar. Boy with a Coin. There's not another song like that.
Yeah.
Right, at all ever.
At all ever.
And
For
the thing
him,
that's
specifically,
amazing
but
is
also
just
for
this-
At all ever.
It's one guitar riff over and over and over again, aside from, like, that post-chorus. And, like,
Yeah, but
it's
it's
just,
such
like...
a complex guitar riff. Like,
And the
Yeah.
thing about Boy with a Coin that I didn't realize right away, it's also his sexiest song.
Ooh!
So, here's the thing.
that's totally true.
It's totally
He has
true.
some sexy songs off Kiss Each Other Claim, though.
That's true. That's
Okay.
you're
Yeah.
right. You're right. But I never thought about like Boy with a Coin as like a sexy song. But I had a partner and we used to trade sexy songs of the day back and forth. And one day her song was Boy with a Coin, and I was like, what? And then I listened to it and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
when it's especially funny because
like
it's like it's
yes.
not
And if
the
you watch
lyrics
video,
are not
there's-
sexy.
It's a flamenco dancer,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
and then you get that like it's really.
I love. I
the
still
lyrics
love.
aren't
I still love that
sexy.
that kind of
Right,
warped
again,
gu-
it's
that warped
totally
slide
just
guitar
images.
post chorus. That.
Yeah.
I
Like it's just musically.
and Boy with a Coin, I recently was just for the hell of it making a playlist of like ranking my favorite songs of all time. Which
All
is
time.
very difficult and also it's
Very Taran.
way too long. Also very Taran. But like Boy with a Coin is like in the top 30.
Yeah.
Like it's just
good stuff.
phenomenal. And it's another one where it's just like he just has verses. And then it's just like a hey instead of a chorus. And anyway.
Now that being said, Kerida's putting it at number 3, and spoiler alert, I'm inclined to agree with her, but
I have so much more to say.
I know.
I think we're gonna have to finish talking about this and then finish talking about One King before we can agree on which.
Well, no, I think we're gonna have to talk about all three before we.
Yeah, which is totally okay. So let's talk a little bit more about Shepherd's Dog. Taran has a lot to say.
I have so much to say. I mean,
Okay.
this is like in my top. I think it's like my third favorite album of all time. I'd say like this is.
It's definitely the one I associate with you.
It's just. I mean. And it's the other thing is that I understand I'm probably biased. It came out in 2007, which is like
the year
when
you discovered music.
a couple of years after, but still very early. And I've listened, like, I'd say my least favorite song on here is Wolves, Song of the Shepherd's Dog. And I have probably listened to that song 50 times.
Right, and that's
Like-
a song that I'll find myself singing when I haven't heard it in a month.
Yeah.
And I'm just, it's just like
And-
there all
and
of a
it's just
sudden.
like-
I don't do
It's
that with Love Song of the Buzzard, though. I'm telling you.
No.
What?
His hackles are
We're
raised,
breaking
guys.
Taran's soul right now. I need
Guys,
to know
like,
this.
just, I mean, for me, there's not even, like, a weak song on here. Like
I mean,
through
I would
the
agree
year-
with you on that.
Like, I would say probably the ones that didn't connect with me are, like, White Tooth Man, Innocent Bones, and Peace Beneath the City. But even they all have,
I
like...
love Peace Beneath the City.
Right, they all have, like, such a, like, a
Distinct.
soothing... And they're all such a distinct sound. And I think probably why I didn't connect with them at first is that they're not the classic, like...
Old
guitar
school,
Sam
yeah.
Beam.
Right.
Innocent Bones almost has this like Caribbean vibe to it, and then Peace Beneath,
It's almost
Beneath
danceable.
the City is like this dour, dark.
It's almost like
There's
cinematic.
a lot of
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
bit cinematic
Yeah.
and it's droning and it's a song for the bodies buried by the interstate.
Yeah.
Like it's
Ugh.
really
Yeah.
dark and gritty.
And when we're talking about the art of putting an album together, that run of Resurrection Fern, Boy with a Coin, The Devil Never Sleeps, and Peace Beneath the City is like solid. Just the ordering, like especially Peace Beneath the City, I think following The Devil Never Sleeps, you're again, it's just this deep. You've gotten in it.
Right, because The Devil Never Sleeps, it's starting you on this journey of like it's kind of sinister, but it's in a major key, and it's boppy, and it's got
Right,
that like
yeah.
upbeat piano, and then Peace Beneath the City is like, by the way. And I'm really surprised you don't like Love Song of the Buzzard, because that's, again, I think, I know I'm biased, but I just can't let this go at number 3. It has, I would say, 4 out of my favorite 7 Iron and Wine songs.
Shepherd
like,
songs.
it's just Pagan Angel in a Borrowed Car, Love Song of the Buzzard, Boy with a Coin, and Devil Never Sleeps. Like, he hits the perfect sweet spot of the, like, lush instrumentation, the Southern Gothic imagery, and just hitting you in that emotional core here.
And let's talk about the vampire in the room. Flightless Bird and American Mouse. You guys are both like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I was waiting for that segue. I didn't know where it was going.
But no, because I loved that song. And
Right.
I
Loved
We're both
past
past
tense, yeah.
tense.
loved past tense. But
We're bitter about it now.
And for good reason.
As far as like being a musician, the fact that he accomplished writing a song that still spoke to us in our love of his sweet Southern Gothic, like very lyrical, not young adult romance
He went
novel
from
at
Southern
all.
Gothic to
Speaking
straight
of-
up goth.
Speaking of, like, incredible vocal arrangements,
And
too.
just gorgeous song. And the fact that, somebody heard it and was like, this song is so beautiful, we gotta put it in this movie. And I was like, no, they don't deserve it, they don't get it, fine. But the fact that he accomplished writing something that kind of crossed that bridge, no matter how sad we are about it, I think is worth noting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that being said, though, at the same time, as great as the breakthrough is, can we talk about how without any of these without this album in general, he would not have been able to make something like Kiss Each Other Clean. And Kiss Each Other Clean, I didn't have a lot of familiarity with going into this week, and that album just fucking knocked me the fuck out.
Me too.
It is just radiant.
I'm
it is, and
pretty
here's the
sure
thing.
I
I will
listened to it
even
3
tell
times
you.
in a row
I'm telling
immediately.
you right now that if we want to talk about poor elements, like there's parts of
I
Shepherd's.
think I did too, though, actually.
Yeah.
There's
I
parts
know.
of Shepherd Dog I don't like, but fuck that fucking slide whistle breakdown on Rabbit Will Run. Fuck that noise. I hated that. But that being said,
I fucking love it. I just love everything about that.
because I really feel like but if you hear like what he does with these like not just vocal arrangements, but these massive choirs of backing vocals that he has, and because like he's structuring his songs, walking outside, like honestly, walking far from home. When I hear that like lyrically and structurally, it actually fucking sounds
I know what
like
your problem is with it, but
No.
What do you think my problem is with it?
Well, I mean, because I do feel like it's fucking just like beautiful, and also gets almost like
Tupac?
cartoonish at sometimes.
Yes.
Yes.
And I have the same problem with Walking Far From Home that I have with Your Fake Name Is Good Enough For Me, is that I love the production on both of them. I think that in both cases there's a couple, like on Walking Far From Home, the first time, like all of the instruments drop out and he just has that like 4-part harmony, like distorted background vocal that's just like, and like, it's so striking. And I appreciate Walking Far From Home because it starts and there's a heavy filter on his vocal and there's no backing track at all, and then it slowly evolves. Like, it really feels like it's taking you on a journey, and I just don't like the melody. I don't like the melody. And
So
for
surprising.
a single melody that repeats for an entire almost 5-minute song, that's a huge problem. And the same thing happens on Your Fake Name Is Good Enough For Me. That I like the verse chorus that makes up the first half of it, but then I over this, like, the second more than half of it is just a it just repeats
But
the
then,
same thing.
I mean,
over and over
and
again.
listen. Even that being said, Glad Man Singing is such a stunning goddamn number.
So here's the thing I will say about, again, love Kiss Each Other Clean. I would be okay if Your Fake Name Is Good Enough For Me just wasn't on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also he stuck it at the end. So whatever.
But then you also have a fucking song like Big Bird Hand, which is basically like it's almost like kind of this like white boy funk number that kind of comes in, but then you have these crazy jazz horns going all over the place, and then just kind of random biblical lyrical. It's almost like his hedonistic album after
It's
this kind of
very-
like.
It's not biblical. It's straight up
Yeah.
polytheistic. I mean,
Yeah.
it's about the goddess of love and the goddess of war and how they are.
The lion and the lamb are fucking in the back
back row.
Right.
Right.
That line. I'm
know,
just like,
yeah.
what?
Yeah.
What?
Right.
Cynthia?
I mean, I do appreciate on that song how each verse ends with an image of the lion and the lamb, and how they are, like, the lion and lamb are responding because of the influence that these gods are having
Yes.
on the world. Like,
Yes.
that's probably one of my favorite, like, world building songs that he does. But it's also not, like, my favorite song. Like,
Yeah,
I'd say musically, I'm not drawn back to it a ton. The songs that I love on this album are Half Moon.
Yes.
That, like, do-up-ba-da-ba. Yes. And the way that it's the second chorus, instead of just doing its thing, he takes it all the way up into falsetto, and especially at this point in his career, his falsetto is so beautiful.
He sounds better singing on this album than any other album in his entire career.
He sounds...
And I think that's my biggest thing about this album, like Weak Strong Moments aside. Ultimately, more than this one, I talk about this being his hedonistic album. And admittedly, he is an agnostic. He grew up, a Bible boy, and then he kind of moved away from that. But there's still a lot of biblical imagery that clearly
and
peppers
he
much
also
of his
has
works.
said that he doesn't believe in Christianity, but he's agnostic specifically because he
Not
thinks
atheistic.
there's something out there.
Yeah.
Right.
But and every culture
Which is part of I
feels
love
that
him.
thing
Yeah.
and
That's in his
and calls it
music in a
something
way.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing about Kiss Each Other Clean, the reason why it speaks so much to me is that even in the weaker moments, he sounds like he is having so much goddamn fun putting this album together. And the thing is that, even Shepherd's Dog, it very much was much more formal. It was the big prop breakthrough that needed to happen. But Kiss Each Other Clean is just, it revels in the colors and textures and the crazy 70s synth keyboard things that he's able to find and rock together. And, it just coheres together. And that's why, even though, if we want to talk about pure artistic songwriting quality, I would even go as far as say it may not be his best, but it's the album I will come back to time and time and time again. And that's not something I always knew about this album. I didn't know how exciting it was listening to it all the way straight through.
So, that's the thing. It is an album. There are standout songs. You can take the songs out from it. Now, when I first heard this album, I was super excited for it. And it didn't I loved it.
Oh.
I seriously think I
loved it
listened
too.
to it beginning to end 3 times in a row the day I bought it.
Yeah.
I'm not even... And within the first week of listening to it, I was like, I'm going to write a show that just is this album. I have and we have another album like this, I know. It doesn't happen all the time. I have an entire, dance story that goes on in my head when I listen to this album. So it inspired that to me. And I feel like, in a lot of ways, I've put some of that into it that's maybe not there for other people, and that's okay. But, I really feel like there's, the theme and the story just really running through it. And I think that's also why I kind of forgive some of the things that you don't like about the opener and the closer, because to me, they feel like an opening and a closing number of a show.
Yeah.
Yes, no, they do.
Ooh.
No, they are very striking.
Yeah.
Opener and closer. I just don't love
As individual
them.
songs, they're not necessarily amazing, but again,
you can't say that this is more of an album than fucking Shepherd's Dog. I mean, Shepherd's Dog is a continuous mix.
I do.
For the
I
most
honestly,
part.
I do agree with that, and I do love that
Yes.
about the production is that the songs there's little elements that bleed over into the next one, and then they
And you
start
say
to pick up.
you
Yeah.
say that he's having a lot of fun on Kiss Each Other Clean, which I agree with. But on Shepherd's Dog, he's not just having fun. He's it's like he has a secret. You can hear that he there's more going on behind the scenes with that album.
Yeah, Kiss Each Other Clean's more fun. But that being said, we're talking about Taran's very upset, but it's okay. We're talking about it, but let's talk about the vagina in the room. The Woman King EP.
Wow.
Thank you, Bobby Evers.
No, that's more like wow.
Wow. But let's talk about it, because now, which one was your first one? Because it looks like you discovered Iron and Wine through the Woman King EP. What is the discovery?
Well, I didn't know that Kerida had been listening to him for that long. I almost wonder if I heard him around to the house.
Yeah, you might have. I don't know. I was trying to think of this, and I do think that Garden State was my introduction to him with his
with
cover
many
of
people.
I mean,
Great
same,
Heights.
yeah.
But that's 2003.
Uh-huh.
I looked it up before we started because I wanted to know.
He recorded it before that album even came out, by the way. I guess he heard some demo or something like that too, which is crazy.
And that's why I know it was high school, because I remember reading about that specifically in one of our high school student papers or something.
Sure.
And that's when I started listening to him. But I don't know that I loved him in the way that I love him now in his music until Woman King. Because Woman King came along at a time in my life when I had just rejected the Christianity I grew up with in favor of exploring the feminine divine, which is what this album is all about.
Yeah.
And
actually, though.
So, like, what Woman King means to me is, like, my junior year of college throwing new moon parties and, like, just listening. This came right after the year that I only listened to female artists.
Yeah.
Woman King came out, so it was one of the first, and I was like, all right, guys can be okay, too, I guess. And so, like, so for me, it has a lot. It was a lot of meaning for me. But those songs hold true going back to them. That said, I do have favorites, but I don't know how many of them jump out in the way that songs from Shepherd's Dog do.
Right.
I will give you that.
But that being said, I mean, as in terms of his chronology, especially coming after Our Endless Number of Days, this, like, he discovered rhythm in a way that was just...
Yeah, I mean, when you have Our Endless Number of Days, and this is the following year. I think it was released less than a year later.
Yeah.
And it opens with the clacking drumsticks on Woman King, like... And there's it's like it's almost like a marching song.
Yeah.
And it has this presence that you have not
this
heard
darkness,
before.
This undercurrent.
Yeah.
This strength.
Yes, the strength. That's really what it had. And then that strength, even on the like more acoustic, beautiful songs on this album, I feel like that strength just carries through.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, another one of my like favorite songs of all time is
Grace
My
Stables.
Lady's House.
Oh, okay.
Grace Stables also.
I really like Grace Stables.
My Lady's House for me, and this is another like definitely personal anecdote that gives it a little more meaning, but I made this mix in like I think senior year of high school that I just called baby making. And I was like, it had like Glory Box by Portishead and it had like frickin' the Chris Isaac song and
Wicked
like
Games.
Yeah. And just like a lot of like and I gave it to a couple of my friends and
they made
I
babies.
included
So many
My
babies.
Lady's House on there. And also, like, Dancing by Eliza. Anyway, moving on. Then my friend Alyssa came back to me and said that, like, there was this guy that she had been seeing and she used to put on that mix CD because it was perfect for the occasion. And
Or not making.
She said that, like, they would, like, finish round one and it was always right before My Lady's House came on. And then they would, like, sit in bed and sing it to each other.
Oh, my God.
And then
Jesus.
she, like, couldn't listen to that mix CD anymore after they broke up.
I can
And I was like, shit, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize I made a Falling in Love album. Like, I totally did that, though. I did that to you. But, no. So My Lady's House, and I haven't said this previously, but
Or publicly.
just in general, across his whole discography, part of why I love Iron and Wine so much is that I love finding the third missing harmony. And I do that a ton on this EP specifically.
does that with vacuum cleaners, too, so.
I don't think I mean, I used to do that. Did I harmonize with the vacuum
You
cleaner?
100% harmonized with the vacuum cleaner. You didn't think we could hear you, but we could.
This is the greatest story I've ever heard.
You harmonized with the vacuum cleaner. And Sam would use the riding mower at Betty's house and make race car noises because he didn't think we could hear him.
Right, and we
Yeah.
could.
We could.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Happy hour
Terry.
mini-sode
No,
after this.
I thought that was a
Okay.
story that like people knew.
No, I love that.
Okay,
That's hilarious.
our hundreds of thousands of listeners now know it too.
I mean, this album, or this EP rather, it's just so fucking solid. Like,
Yeah.
I'd say probably my least favorite song on there, and this is gonna surprise some people, is Freedom Hangs Like Heaven, but even that is like a beautiful song.
Right.
And then
I can
Evening
see-
on the Ground
yeah.
is just like, again, this darkness that you haven't found before. That song is straight up sinister, which makes sense. It's about Lilith, who is a sinister figure.
And every one of these songs is about a biblical figure, a female biblical figure in some form or another.
Yeah.
Maybe loosely, but certainly.
And about the mythos in a very Sambian kind of way, the mythos that has spread from those female
Right, because
biblical figures.
because a lot of these figures have they have
their
a
own
mythos surrounding them that is not in the Bible.
Yes.
Like Lilith has a whole cult,
Yes, right.
like
And Jezebel.
centuries of like worship from feminists and witches
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
etc. And
Also,
she's often credited as like the first vampire and shit like that. So like
Also, Cult of Lilith is my new rock band, FYI.
All right.
New
I
EP's
bet
coming
that
out
exists
soon.
already. I'm just
Probably,
saying.
probably. Honestly.
Taylor and I are starting a rock band called Acid Giraffes, just so you know. Continuing.
We're learning so much about each other, guys. Chartographers, iTunes, Stitcher.
No, but I also love. I mean, also on this EP, he hits that on Grey Stables. He hits that like sinister. It's a lot.
Minor key almost.
It's not quite as I mean, Evening on the Ground is aggressive,
Yes.
but Grey Stables is a lot more just like uneasy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and I think that's the solidness of this album and the way that it hit me when it hit me in my life, but that like really rings true, is that he does really get the reasons that people worship these figures, and the darkness and the sexuality and the kind of danger, but how that's still like beautiful and life-giving at the same time. And I think he really captures that in every song in a different way. And I think also Evening on the Ground, it like surprises me every time.
Right? I forget how much I like it.
Yeah, because I almost always listen to this album just as an album because it's
only six
songs.
songs.
Six songs.
It's like 23 minutes or something like that.
Right. And so I'm never like, I just want to listen to Woman King and then I'm going to turn it off. You know?
Right.
So, like, and every time it's like, oh, yeah, this song.
I mean, the moment it
it's-
starts when it's just boom, like, you're like, oh, God, yeah.
So that being said, though, we've been talking about Iron and Wine for 1 hour.
Oh, God, really?
And we have 3 releases left to rank. So listen here. I think we've all stated our preferences and our ideas. I'm going to toss a controversial thing out here. I think because of where some of our favorites line. And again, we're down to 3 very good albums, but make no mistake, this is a tight-ass race. I want the listener to know.
Three-way tie.
Exactly. Yes, we did. Exactly. So can we, at least for the sake of our argument, because we always do have to do a determination, number 3, Woman King.
You finish.
Oh, no, I was just putting that there. Can we all agree number 3, Woman King?
I don't think so.
I
No.
think you need to finish with the whole ranking.
Okay.
What's your proposal?
We're each going to give our top 3 and then...
Exactly, because I feel like it would be Woman King number 3, number 2 Shepherd's Dog, number 1 Kiss Each Other Clean. But Taran would say...
I would say Shepherd's Dog number 1, Woman King number 2, Kiss Each Other Clean number 3.
And Kerida would say...
I would say...
Woman King number 1.
No, actually, I would put Kiss Each Other Clean at number 1 also. Or... I would have coming into this. So number 1, Kiss Each Other Clean. Number 2, Woman King. Number 3, Shepherd's Dog. However, after this conversation,
Uh-oh.
I do think I would probably put Kiss Each Other Clean at number 3. But I was and I would then Woman King 1 and Shepherd's Dog 2.
Taran.
So we all ranked them completely differently,
completely
right?
differently.
Can we take a 2-minute break? No, it's so. I mean,
We're dealing with quality,
3 albums. We can't find a happy medium there.
So here, that being said, there's a couple factors going on here. Now, I think for you listeners at home, especially if you're wondering what the ultimate ranking is, I think we've debated thoroughly enough. I think there's a lot of people that can make their own determinations. I think there's clearly a lot of favoritism in play because, as you could tell, our panel has very strong feelings.
and very personal connections.
Very personal connections
Yeah.
with these. Just that being said, if I were to toss it out there as the best compromise we're going to get out of this, I would actually go ahead and throw my vote behind Kerida's ranking of 3 Kiss, 2 Shepherd, 1 Woman.
1 woman.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Okay.
I can support that.
Okay, and listen, as you can clearly tell, that is a hard-fought battle. But let's go ahead, lock it in. Number 7 on our list is Ghost on Ghost. Number 6 is the Sea and the Rhythm EP. Number 5 is our Endless Number Days. Number 4 is The Creek Drink the Cradle. Number 3 is Kiss Each Other Clean. Number 2 is The Shepherd's Dog. And the number 1 Iron and Wine album is Archive Series, Volume 2 and 3 on vinyl. Now a record store day. I'm kidding. No, it's number 1 is the Woman King EP. But as you can clearly tell, guys, so even though we did the ranking, we have a lot more to say, and that is exactly what the Happy Hour mini-episode is for.
As we mentioned earlier, even including the EPs, we have discussed exactly half of his released material.
Right.
So there's so much to say.
Exactly. God, that was the most tense ranking.
Well, and it's so funny because 7 through 4 we were like, yeah, great. And then, oh man, all right.
I knew it was there. But hey, listen, I'm really happy with what we did, and I really recommend you listen to our Happy Hour mini-episode episode coming right after this. In the meantime, though, Taran, thank you.
Happy Hour EP.
It's our Happy Hour EP.
Happy Hour
It is an EP length,
You
basically.
might count it as an episode, you might not.
Who knows? In your ranking, I don't know. We'll see. But that being said, I think we can all sing Happy Birthday to Deedles.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
In between episodes. But
that was such a letdown. Anyway, sorry.
Wow. Okay, but anyway, Deedles, thank you so much for being here with us and ranking Iron and Wine with us.
And like I said, hey, we still got to talk about all 3 of those albums.
In great detail, right? So, anyways, guys, do us a favor and let us know your ranking on our Facebook page. It's open, and every time people comment, I really love it. We usually respond too. It's fun. Also, do us a favor, rank us on iTunes. We always appreciate that. Like us on whatever the fuck other things we're on, and keep on listening because you know that we'll be seeing the Happy Hour. So, guys, thank you so much. Goodbye. I'm sorry, wait, do that again? Richard can't do the marches. I think you have to pay him royalties now. The bass line off of that.
Actually, I'm pretty sure we don't because we already have permission to use the song.
Oh,
so.
shit! Oh!
Just saying.